do that, it's not going to change because everyone's just going to pack 6 guys in front of the net. I really do. I think they're just going to continue to pack it.
The game will go day after day. It's really frustrating to me watching this. But I don't understand why in the regular season, could have changed everything. The regular season, why aren't you doing penalty kicks in MLS? Okay. They don't. It ends in a tie.
Right.
So you look at the New York team and you're like, we should kill this New York team. Their record is 14-5-11.
Yeah.
Think if those 11 went the other way, half of them, they have the same record as the Revolution.
Yeah.
The Revolution won the best record in soccer because their ties ended up wins miraculously. Yeah. Or, I mean, it does show that you're winning your ties. But that New York team, part of their goal probably was, let's tie these games and get out of here with a tie. It's a point, we move on. If you're going to do penalty kicks in the playoffs, do them during the regular season. Because how is that for fan? How would you like to be a New York fan, Dave? You're a soccer fringe guy. You're a soccer fringe guy. If you go to these games,
absolutely.
But imagine you leave and it's a tie.
I like this. He looks at me to try and make his point. I don't respond because I'm not that interested, and then he turns to Dale to try and get a response from him.
Because Dale will respond, everybody. And no, it's the tie thing is if you're going to do penalty kicks in the playoffs, which there's really no better way to end these games because they will go on forever. And as somebody said, you get your 5 best players with the ball on the dot against your top goalie and let it rip and end the game that way.
Right.
See what happens. The other way, make sure these cases are consistent. That's all.
The NHL had the same thing for years.
Yes.
And they finally went to the 3-on-3 for the overtime period, followed by the shootout.
Yep.
And it's worked out for them. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it, but
I'd like to see them move the penalty shot back a little bit because it seems too easy.
Yep.
9 out of 10, and for hockey, I think they should end the game with a fight.
Bring back goals. 2 goalies go at it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I think. What about this idea?
David,
right?
I don't know if you remember this.
How about this? You take your coach. You walk over to the other team's bench. You slap 3 of their players in the face. They do the same to yours. Eventually, something's going to happen, and whatever happens after that.
I think punching myself in the nose at the end of a hockey game wouldn't motivate my teammate to win the fight.
No.
It would work in hockey.
And just real quick, Dave, in the past, MLS did try something other than penalty kicks.
Yep.
You actually got the ball at midfield, and you dribbled in on the goalie like a penalty shot.
Oh, that's hysterical.
They did that a few years ago. It got. I don't think it didn't go well.
The goalies figured it out, and it became really hard to score.
Yeah, the goalies would come charging out, and it'd be a circus way out the 18-yard box, not anywhere near the goal.
Yeah, there was a clock, so you had to dribble in straight. You couldn't take wide turns and do.
Yeah, it wasn't like a penalty shot in hockey, but they tried to do that from midfield. It was interesting, and then they just went to penalty.
I think the one thing that we saw at the Revolution game certainly is that by the end of the extra period, and it's very interesting that it's not sudden death. I thought that's really interesting.
Golden goal. They do that in some European tournaments.
Yeah. I thought it was really, you could tell both teams were exhausted by the end. I mean, this is why the reason why the Revolution didn't score.
Yeah, I was doing the study. I was tired.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
It was his 400th game,
your fingers must have been exhausted.
And a long road.
Let me ask you this question. Hey, how did Mike Singleton do?
They lost it. He had a player red carded with a few minutes left, and then it went to overtime, and they lost in overtime.
This is in the NCAA Division III soccer finals.
Mike Singleton, a former president of Mass Youth Soccer, so we were rooting for him in our house anyways.
And this is for Washington Lee?
Yeah, they lost to Connecticut College, who's never won a title of any sport, and they finally won a title. Congratulations to them.
Oh,
fantastic.
good for them.
They beat Amherst, so this is good. So the week sucked because the Revs lost, but Amherst has a long throwing guy, which, I hate that.
To the box.
He was there when my son was at Brandeis 4 years ago, so he's still there. I'm watching this kid 4 years later. He takes every throw-in on that sideline.
Sure, throw it right into the box.
If it's way in his corner, he throws it out to mid. They never throw short. It's just him hurling the thing down the field. So I was so glad they lost.
So this kid, the long throwing guy, was playing 4 years ago, and now he's still playing.
Yeah, and they were losing 1-0 and scored with 13 seconds left, and it went to a shootout. And what do we know about goalies? Make yourself large. The other goalie was huge. Yeah, so I thought Amherst was going to win the game.
Yeah,
but the smaller Connecticut goalie saved like the first 3, and they won the thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
And
wouldn't know anything about that.
not only was the goalie, the small goalie from which team?
Connecticut College.
Connecticut College, but his heart grew 10 sizes bigger, and that helped him with the penalty shot.
Yeah, you would ask before the podcast about the NCAA women's, which I think we need to talk about.
Oh, hold on. Now, before we get to that, here's another thing, and this is what I thought of, because when you were saying 4 years, I thought maybe the kid had a COVID year in soccer and blah, 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 blah.
He probably did. Yeah.
But the COVID in MLS, if you haven't heard this, we were talking about this before. COVID wiped out a team in the playoffs. Philadelphia versus New York. Where was Philly?
With a 2 seed, they were hosting the game.
And they were really good. They were a home team, really good team. Of course, New York had 11 ties.
Yep.
So who knows? But they had 11 players out with COVID.
Shouldn't be making out with each other.
That's,
You know, I can't help you.
They were probably sharing a microphone. They're probably sharing a microphone.
It's the Philly Union. It says right in the name.
All right.
It is the city of brotherly love.
Yes.
All right. So we're at the end. We're at the end, and not a moment too soon. Jim, you want to talk about the women?
Yes, and this time not about their appearances, but what they did on the pitch.
All right.
Florida State,
Yep.
with the number 1 seed in the women's,
Yep.
is playing Brigham Young University, the number 4 seed.
Yep.
Duke got knocked out, so it's 1 versus 4 on the 6th, December 6th, which is,
That tonight?
I think it's tonight at 8 o'clock.
Oh.
So our next podcast, we will have crowned the NCAA.
That's weird that they
Women's
chose a Monday
Championship.
night to have the final.
I don't know. Maybe it's BYU can't, they can't drink, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. So they're playing tonight. Hopefully it doesn't go to penalty kicks.
Let me just point out another league that does its championship on Monday nights. NCAA Division I basketball.
That's correct.
And I believe football. Doesn't football do Monday as well?
Yes, they do. National Championship tournament. So there you go, Paul.
Right.
So
That's
there you
coming
go.
from the host.
So it's good to,
Freaking 12 episodes in, he came
You're
up
right.
with something.
You're right.
Yeah.
Seemed weird.
And he also said CONCACAF right today. This
Is
is
it CONCACAF
this
right?
is a big episode for you.
I found the Turkish coach slapping his players. I think I'm the MVP.
You are
I think I'm the
definitely-
MVP. That's Soccerheads New England. Soccerheadsnewengland.com. Soccerheadsnewengland@gmail.com. Like us, share us. Thanks very much for Dave Rattigan, Paul Nardizzi, Jim Ruberti. Thanks for listening.